Albert Pike said, "The Third World War must be fomented by taking advantage of the differences caused by the agentur of the Illuminati, so-called, between the political Zionists and the leaders of the Islamic world. The war must be conducted in such a way that Islam and the Zionist world mutually destroy each other. Meanwhile, the other nations, once more divided on this issue, will be constrained to fight to the point of complete physical, moral, spiritual, and economic exhaustion. We shall unleash the nihilists and the atheists, and we shall provoke a formidable social cataclysm, which in all its horror will show clearly to the nations the effect of absolute atheism, origin of savagery, and of the most bloody turmoil. Then everywhere the citizens, obliged to defend themselves against the world minority of revolutionaries, will exterminate those destroyers of civilization. The multitude, disillusioned with so-called Christianity, the counterfeit Christianity, whose deistic spirits will from that moment be without compass or direction, anxious for an ideal but without knowing where to render its adoration, will receive the so-called true light through the universal manifestation of the so-called pure doctrine of has-been, Lucifer, brought finally out in the public view. This manifestation will result from the general reactionary movement, which will follow the destruction of so-called Christianity and atheism, both conquered and exterminated at the same time." Notice he said, "We shall unleash the atheists." You guys are pawns of devil worshippers. So in Masonry there are 33 degrees. Disney has a club 33. Disney is run by Masons. Disney's logo has 666, or at least this variation of their logo, the more classic logo. Here you see the United Nations logo has 33 sections, showing that Masons rule the world. Even Chuck E. Cheese's with 2 C's in the logo refers to 33 because of that numerology. And CNN also. And I could go on, but no need. Disney is here showing the Tower of Babel and Satan on top by this representation. The triangle here refers to the pyramid, alluding to the Tower of Babel when mankind united against God. So the popularity of atheism is a result of Masonry's elites, who are not atheists but devil worshippers. Atheists are just pawns. And perhaps some of these champions of atheism may just be devil-worshipping elite Masons pretending. Vladimir Lenin said, "The best way to control the opposition is to lead it ourselves." "When we come into our kingdom," say the learned elders of Zion, "it will be undesirable for us that there should exist any other religion than ours of the one God, with whom our destiny is bound up by our position as the chosen people, and through whom our same destiny is united with the destinies of the world. We must therefore sweep away all other forms of belief. If this gives birth to the atheist whom we see today, it will not, being a transitional stage, interfere with our views, but will serve as a warning for those generations which will hearken to our preaching, the religion of Moses, so-called, that by its stable and thoroughly elaborated system has brought all the peoples of the world into subjection to us. Therein we shall emphasize its mystical right, on which, as we shall say, all its educative power is based. Then at every possible opportunity we shall publish articles in which we shall make comparisons between our beneficent rule and those of past ages." Mark Twain said, "All things are mortal but the Jew, all other forces pass, but he remains. What is the secret of his immortality?" The Bible explains that. His atheism kept him ignorant. Now, Voltaire said, "It is dangerous to be right in matters where established men are wrong." Vladimir Lenin said, "If for the sake of communism it is necessary for us to destroy 9 out of 10 of the people, we must not hesitate." Karl Marx said, "The classes and the races too weak to master the new conditions of life must give way. They must perish in the revolutionary holocaust." Che Guevara said, "We must struggle every day so that this love for humanity becomes a reality." Communism is not love. Communism is a hammer which we use to crush the enemy, said Mao Zedong. You're right, Mao. Much as we might wish to believe otherwise, universal love and the welfare of the species as a whole are concepts which simply do not make evolutionary sense. Those who can make you believe absurdities can make you commit atrocities. Communist Holocaust. Many millions dead. Look at how atheism spread in the world, mostly thanks to this. You're all pawns, atheists. China used to be creationist. Now it suffers from atheism. And the world, as a result, also suffers. Richard Dawkins, sci-fi author, said, "It is a remarkable coincidence that almost everyone has the same religion as their parents, and it always just so happens they're the right religion." I was raised Protestant in a Catholic country, then the United States. I forsook Protestantism. I excommunicated my own father and mother and sisters and cousins et al. They act as if they're Christian, but they're liberal hypocrites. I was taught to be a Zionist, and I was, but I question all, so I repented of Zionism, which puts Jews above God, saying God has to bless them, but they don't have to obey him. That's nonsense. I have philosophically questioned God himself, which he doesn't mind. What he does mind is the unphilosophical, ingrate, rebellion-type questioning, that bratty behavior that Richard Dawkins promotes. That narcissism. And why doesn't this atheist preacher point out how communists teach atheism? Because he's a hypocrite. Atheists in the West as well as the East are products of indoctrination, statistics. In Florida International University, I was going around asking people if they wanted to talk about God, and one of them was Chinese. She was looking at flowers, taking a stroll. When I brought up God, she began turning away due to her country's indoctrination, for she told me that they, in mainland China, as she told me, I didn't assume that, don't believe in such things. So I talked about geography instead. I don't force my religion. I have a daughter now, and I won't force her to read the Bible. That would be dumb. When I was forced to do imaginary numbers, I didn't want anything to do with math. If left alone, I may have gotten into it myself. What I plan to do if World War III does not ruin the plan is to suggest she read it, because after I did, voluntarily, I saw I was not a good person like the world misled me to believe, with its very pathetically low standards. I saw I was going to hell, so because I knew the Bible was right, since it alone explained why man is unique in this universe. And by the way, see my aliens section again, to show why belief in aliens is absurd. And also the Bible perfectly explains why there's evil. Choice was given to us due to God not wanting robots. Atheists can't even account for choice, because choice requires, as I've said very many times before, for clarity and in case someone sees that video and not the whole series, atheists can't even account for choice, because to choose requires freedom to make decisions. But there is no freedom if nature is all that exists, because if nature is all that exists, as atheists assume, lest there be spirits and thereby their origin, a great spirit, a god, if nature is all that exists as atheists assume, then nature made me do it, justifies everything, and choice cannot exist, it's just an illusion. Anyway, so the Bible perfectly explains choice. Atheists can't even account for choice, or anything really, ultimately. And the Bible explains man's uniqueness perfectly. Atheists wish there are aliens, but they can't find even one. Even though the cosmos is gigantic, we can see in every direction around the earth, very, very far away, and not one sign of aliens. Not one. I'm glad I surrendered my life to the one who gave it. I own nothing. He owns everything. Everything we have is thanks to him. That is good. Everything that is bad is ultimately thanks to man ruining things. We don't deserve to live in a perfect world. We are cursed because we have chosen evil. And actually, even if we didn't choose evil, our ancestor did, and he corrupted his seed, and we are from him. Anyway, God will melt all things, you can see. What is visible does not last. The invisible is eternal. I proved spirit in this series already. As an atheist, I am angry that we live in a society
in which the plain truth, as if, cannot be spoken without offending 90% of the population.
Amen. If it's true that you don't need God, then it's true that you don't need a mind to create a sandcastle. So where is your accidental sandcastle? Oh, after thousands of years, not one. Oh, after thousands of beaches being witnessed, not one erodes into existence. Every single time mine did it. You reject all that evidence, atheist. You reject evidence, you reject empiricism, and you reject logic for your blind faith in mindlessness to be doing the job that a great mind alone can do. Or at least one great mind. As a Christian, I am sad that the Chinese are atheists by indoctrination, who, if they hear the truth, will murder or deport you.
God is dead, but given the way of men, there may still be caves for thousands of years in which his shadow will be shown. And we will still have to vanquish his shadow too.
Neat shit. Vanquish the shadows. Some pseudo-intellectual said God is dead. Adam's dust returned to earth, God wins. Pathetic mortal. You're nothing and less than nothing compared to God. Mao Zedong said, "When there is not enough to eat, people starve to death. It is better to let half of the people die so I can eat more." Your head should crack next, plebe. Mao Zedong also said, "People who try to commit suicide, don't attempt to save them. China is such a populous nation that Chinese life doesn't matter to me. Except mine, of course, because I am more equal than others. I am the greater comrade here. Communism is about unity, but you need me to tell you what to do because you're too stupid." Joseph Stalin said, "A single death is a tragedy. A million deaths is a statistic. What do I care? I'm just an atheist." Actually, a devil worshipper pretending to be an atheist, but I didn't get around to the evidence, but this series is too big. I'm not going to keep going on and on. It's too big and I'm almost finished. He's like, "Death solves all problems. No man, no problem." Well, your problems still linger. The consequences of your actions are eternal, Stalin. You're dead, but your mistakes still echo in this world. So you were wrong. No man, problems remain. There is a domino effect. There is a butterfly effect. He's like, God is on your side. Is he a conservative? The devil's on my side. He's a good communist. I'm not sure if he said this, and the same applies to pretty much every other quote, but it is something he would say. It seems legit. I'm not going to bet my life on any of these quotes, but they seem legit. They fit. So if you can prove them wrong, I'll accept that. But good luck with that, as if luck exists. Now this jester, this guy said, Pol Pot, he rounded up anyone he thought was intellectual and had them executed. And how he told someone was intellectual or not was whether they wore glasses. If they're that clever, take them off when they see him coming. I do enjoy seeing atheists exposing atheists. Like my wallpaper. In the materialistic paradigm, man is just an accident and just a beast. This degrades us to where we can treat humans like animals. And it's just survival of the fittest. So, this guy's like, if a person doesn't think there is a God to be accountable to, then what's the point of trying to modify your behavior to keep it within acceptable ranges? Said Jeffrey Dahmer. Serial killer, cannibal, atheist. To be continued, God willing.